Welcome back to the See It in Action demo series. Okay, for this demo, I'm going to demonstrate how to migrate my entire Windows server from an oVirt engine to VMware with Cirrus Migrate Cloud. This is the environment. First, I have this 2016 SMB Windows machine here, running on the Oracle Linux virtualization platform. At the 3.209 IP as our migration source, with the UEFI boot, 8 GB of memory, and 4 CPUs with 2 cores and 2 sockets, one simple network 3.209, and 4 disks, one 20 gig boot drive, and 3 1 gig drives running through the virtual I/O SCSI. Note that our migration source can be anything, any source environment, and any block storage, no matter it is physical or VM from any hypervisors, private cloud, public cloud. CMC literally does not care whatever environment your source host is running on. Even older versions of virtual machines from other VMware environments that do not support native migration to a vSphere client can also be migrated through Cirrus Migrate Cloud. Connecting to it, I can see that this is a 2016 Windows server on the oVirt-based system with the UEFI BIOS mode. Under disk management, we can see the same 20 gig boot drive and 1 gig EFG drives, and all of them are QEMU KVM SCSI devices. As for the destination, I will be migrating to the CDS HQ Engineering VMware. In this data center, there are already a lot of existing hosts running on this VMware cluster, and we are migrating our Windows machine to the 1.140 as a host to run on VMware. Our destinations extend to AzureVMwareSolution and Amazon Elastic VMware Service as well. Let's go to Cirrus Data Cloud. This is the project that I am using for this demo. Oh, I also have another machine, Ubuntu 02, already prepared in this project. We will need this machine acting as an access node within the same network, and I will further explain this access node concept. Now, I'm going to deploy Cirrus Migrate Cloud on my host by copying the installation command and pasting it in the shell. CMC will install and register to Cirrus Data Cloud all by itself. My Windows 2016 SMB host is now displayed on the registered host list, meaning that the installation is completed. And here are the 1 gig data drives and the 20 gigabyte boot drive, the CEFG drives. Before I continue to show you the next step, let's briefly look at MigrateOps, that is a purpose-built data mobility as code automation platform that is designed to make data migration in enterprise scale easier, safer, and more predictable. This is an automation platform that optimizes global data mobility beyond just storage-to-storage data migration, thanks to the flexible automation capabilities that work with your OS, applications, or even cloud infrastructures. It enables seamless chaining of functionalities with other automations that are often managed externally, such as OS automation, application automation, public and private cloud platform automation, virtualization platform automation, enterprise storage management automation, SAN management automation. Normally, we will come here to create migration sessions manually. But for this scenario, we will use MigrateOps. Let's briefly take a closer look at first. Here, I want to show you the purpose-built MigrateOps recipes for all the scenarios you need. I'm going to use this new Compute Migration to VMware recipe for this demo. From here, I'm able to view a complete guide of detailed instructions to operate MigrateOps for migration to VMware. There is even an interactive configuration builder that could help me test out different recipes and show me how to build the YAML configuration accordingly. Apart from that, I can look at the MigrateOps reference and build the configuration myself alternatively. From here, you can see all the options, including the CPU and memory configurations and all these settings. But these are all optional since they are automatically determined based on the source host's configuration. Then we have cutover options and network configurations, including the ability to transfer the MAC address. But one particular option I would like to point out is that we will need to have a CMC helper. It is a temporary VM that is created on the VMware vSphere environment to assist in the migration process. It is managed by Cirrus Data Cloud and will be cleaned up automatically after the migration is completed. And the data will never leave our data center, since it comes straight from the source. In this case, from my oVirt to this vSphere host. So we will need to specify an image and default to CMC Helper VM, and we can download it here with this link. Let me show you. We come to VMware and select Content Libraries and create a new one named Cirrus Data. Then you can create the image through the URL or upload a file. As for this demo, we have already done it. If you have a different name, you may specify it separately. And now let me set up the integration for the next step of this demo. Under Integrations, you can find the VMware vCenter integration. I will proceed to add this integration with a name, vCenter 201, the server address, username and password, and verify the connection with any of my hosts in the same network. You only need to do this once, no matter how many VM you need to migrate. Now that I have CMC installed and the integration ready, let's move on to create a new migration operation. In this scenario, I am migrating this Windows 2016 SMB, and I am using this ST Ubuntu 02 as my access node, as I mentioned before, because we need another node within the same network to access your VMware environment, which is private. It can be any Windows or Linux host or any of your source host. Next, I have the option to upload my configuration file or enter the configuration manually. Like many other industry-standard automation tools, our configuration is in YAML syntax. For this demo, I already have a YAML file prepared. I am providing an operation name, the recipe that I am using, the specified host name and integration name that we have set up earlier, my access node, my compute, storage, and network configurations. And of course, while I am creating the configuration, I can always come back to the MigrateOps reference to apply all the fields we need. Cirrus Data offers a comprehensive range of MigrateOps recipes, supporting migrations from a variety of environments beyond just migrating to VMware. No matter which platform or storage you're migrating to or migrating from, the process is more or less similar. This is the completed configuration. Note that this is just for one host. You can add as many hosts as you want into your configuration. But for now, let's keep it simple and submit this configuration for this demo. The migration operation has started. Once I enter this newly created operation, I can view all the details. This is going quickly. The operation has already identified the access node, detected 8 GB of memory, 2 CPUs, 2 cores, exactly what we have on the oVirt environment. Also, since it is UEFI, CMC has identified that it is not BIOS in this case. Moving on, the host is identified, and the content library is here. Our virtual machine has been created, and we can already find that on VMware. And so far, all of these actions are automated. Moving forward, the VMware VM is deployed and registered with Cirrus Data Cloud. The H2H connection is created so that we have a secure data transfer. The destination virtual disk storage is prepared. From the OLVM, we had the 20 gig boot drive and the 3 1 gig data drives. And now from VMware, we have already created 5 hard drives. And ignoring this 10 gig boot drive for our temporary VM, we have the same drives created by Cirrus Data Cloud. A migration session is created and data is synchronizing. Let's go and look at the migration session details. The CEFG drives are migrating from the oVirt machine to the VMware environment. We can track the progress with the changed data map. The dirty blocks here show that this is a live migration, and we can find the thin data ratio alongside all other migration information we need. When I go back to the migration operation, this is now at a waiting stage. Upon reaching this stage, we will receive an email notification, and we can optionally set up an approval window if we decide to start cutover later. But let me just approve it right now for the demo. Once approved, the operation will proceed the rest of the steps. MigrateOps has then prepared compute cutover, where it configured the system to ensure that it had all essential drivers enabled and necessary configurations for our VMware VM based on best practices. The operation has proceeded further. Now, I have this migration report generated, where I can always come back to the reports and view all the detailed information about this migration. Coming back to the operation, it is now reconfiguring my virtual machine. It is powering off the VM and making all the necessary adjustments, adjusting boot volume and removed it, and the same goes for the data volume. And after the cleanup is completed, my new VM in VMware is powered on automatically. Once everything turns green, the cutover process is done, and the migration operation is completed. Now, let me head back to Oracle, and the source VM is automatically powered off. From VMware vCenter, all the MigrateOps generated VMs and volumes for migration are gone and got cleaned up. All that I have left right now is the new Windows 2016 SMB machine. And it is now running with the same 8 gig of memory and 4 CPUs, 2 cores, and 2 sockets. It now has a different IP as well, since I asked for a different MAC address. But with our MigrateOps network configuration options, we could transfer our old MAC address, so it really depends on how your environment works by the end of the day. Let me launch the console. It has booted up properly. From the disk management, my 20 gig C drive and all 1 gig EFG data drives are all replicated, and they are VMware virtual disk SCSI devices. We installed the necessary drivers during the pre-configured setup, allowing the replication process to proceed automatically. The system maintains the UEFI configuration exactly as it was. From the system information, we can see that the same Windows 2016 server is running on VMware. Let's have a quick summary of what I did. First, I installed CMC on my host and set up the VMware integration for the migration. Remember, our migration source can be any environment and any block storage solution, whether physical or virtual, across any hypervisor, private cloud, or public cloud platform, including AzureVMwareSolution and Amazon Elastic VMware Service. Even older versions of virtual machines from other VMware environments that do not support native migration to a vSphere client can be seamlessly migrated using Cirrus Migrate Cloud. Once I did this, I proceeded to create a migration operation configuration in YAML syntax. Once the operation has started, all the necessary migration and cutover tasks were automatically completed upon confirmation. You might not have followed every detail that was demonstrated, and that's perfectly fine. I basically created a YAML file, submitted it, and Cirrus Data Cloud did all the work automatically. It migrated from our source environment to my VMware environment. Without any manual interaction, everything is up and running, just like before migration. This is how you migrate to VMware with Cirrus Migrate Cloud.